due to the technical reasons I could not. Before this slide came, there was one small video which was of the co-author of this paper, Dr. Kalpana, who is an assistant professor and head of the Department of English in one of the colleges in Mumbai University. She was supposed to be here but could not. So on her behalf, I am presenting this paper in front of you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me first of all put on record my very deep sense of gratitude to the organizers of this conference, particularly my friend Dr. John, who has been there for the last couple of weeks, answering all types of queries, my mails, my phone calls, and helping me out to be here in time. So thank you, sir, for your all cooperation. I also want to put on record my deep sense of gratitude to the Vice Chancellor of Mumbai University, Dr. Sanjay Deshmukh, who helped me, who supported me to come over here. I also want to mention Mr. Vivekanandji Patil, the local MLA of my area, who is the chairperson of the college where Dr. Kalpana teaches, and the chief executive officer of that institution, Mr. Shivaji. These are the people who helped us to be here with all of you today. Friends, we know that language is basically a means of communication. And unfortunately, it has been observed since time immemorial that there has been different types of politics, which are being played so far as the use of language is concerned. My paper actually it has been divided in three distinct parts. In the first part, I'd like you to be familiar with the kind of history of language or language use in India. Then in the second part, I would like to make you familiar with the kind of situation that emerged in 1947 when Britishers left India. And then with the specific topic of my presentation, that what kind of language is being used by this so-called marginal literature which is being written on large scale of 1960s and 70s in different regional Indian languages. So that will be the concluding part of my presentation. So to begin with, India, we know, is one of the very oldest, richest cultures, having the history of say around 3,000 years. The language itself, we know, in any part of this world, there is not a single society which can boast of having only one language. All the societies, in one way or the other, they are multilingual, using different kinds of language, different dialects of one language to communicate their ideas, their views, their emotions to the people. So far as India is concerned, at present we are a country of 130 million people and speaking more than 1,000 languages. History goes back so far as the main language of India is concerned, that was Sanskrit, long back 3,500 years back, when the Vedas are supposed to be written in Sanskrit, and accordingly different groups of people, different tribes, they tried to speak the language in different forms. Different dialects of Sanskrit emerged with the passing of the time. And we have the history of around say 2,500 years when one dialect, which is known as Prakrit. Prakrit means, Sanskrit means pure, refined, and Prakrit means apabhransh, corrupt, impure. That was the meaning given to one of the dialects which was being used by many of the different tribes who were habitating in India around 2,000 years back. Those are the languages which have come from either Indo-Aryan group of families of languages or say Dravidian languages. Of course, some of them are Austro-Tibetan languages in India. Some of the people, some of the tribes, they speak this kind of language also. Our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he speaks Gujarati, and Gujarati is one of those languages which has taken birth from this Prakrit. Now, Prakrit, if we just move to the history of Indian literature, basically we had Sanskrit literature. And Sanskrit literature, in those days, we have the people like Bhagavati, Kalidasa, Panini. These people, they used to write in Sanskrit. And that Sanskrit, in the plays, for example, in Kalidasa's play like Abhigan Shakuntalam, we have different characters. So the characters who belong to the upper strata of the society, belonging to the royal families, like the King Dushyanta, the Queen Shakuntala, they used to speak Sanskrit. So the literature which was being written around 2500 years ago in Sanskrit, it used to be written in different dialects. The upper caste people belonging to the royal families, they used Sanskrit, that is the pure language. And the characters who belong to the lower strata, the Shudras, the slaves, and even the women, they spoke not in Sanskrit, they spoke in Prakrit, that is unrefined, impure language. That is, I think, is the real politics of, so far as the use of language in Indian literature is concerned. So, for thousands of years, this language and the politics of language is being played. Whatever is impure, corrupt, is assigned to the groups who are have-nots, who are lower castes, lower communities, lower tribes. And whatever is pure, refined, it goes to the upper caste. That is not only in social structure, even in linguistic structure, the same kind of politics unfortunately was being played in India. Sanskrit literature is itself a proof of it. Now I will take you to 1947. In the 150 years we had Britishers in our country who ruled India along with many other countries of the world. And what they gave us is two different things. One is the English language, because during the period when my university, Mumbai University, came into existence in 1857, the language of instruction of this university was English. Not any of the native language was used by the Britishers to give instructions as a medium of learning in these universities. So English became almost the official language of the country before independence. Now what is the status of English today? In 1947, when the country became free from the political rule of the Britishers, there came the Constitution of India. It came into effect in 1950, 26 January 1950, and there are 8 articles in this Constitution of India, article number 43 to article number 50, which speak about the status of official language of India. So what came? The leaders of that time, including Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of my country, they came up with the idea of making Hindi as the official language of the country. So around 360 million people, 36 crores of people of India, they will accept Hindi as the official language of the country. That was decided in 1950. But as there was so much opposition particularly from the southern states of India, that is Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh. These are the 4 very important states of our country which fall in the southern belt, that is Dravidian. They are having Dravidian culture. The other states, they are having Aryan culture, that is the Hindi speaking people.
Maybe you need a translation. Very interesting. So can I use 1 minute?
Yeah, sure.
我看到我还是要反映这个啦，安尼大家听咧看的。他刚才讲就是几个重点啊，我讲一下。因为最先呢叫这个梵文啊，他们这个是纯正的这个语言啊 ，Sanskrit。然后过来呢，他们又有另外一种语言，他们认为是一种粗俗的 可是呢，粗俗就是因为粗俗才会能够成长啊。就在他们印度呢，这一个大量的转变啊，这边呢转变出这些包括啦 Hindi 啊，这个 Hindi 这样的语言。后来因为他们曾经被英国统治过嘛，所以他们讲英文就比较容易。可是呢，他们后来就决定把这个印度语这个 Hindi 呢，这其中他们刚才不是说是比较粗俗的语言吗？就其中一种叫 Hindi， 变成这个他们国家的语言这样知道所以如果知道这样就很不错。他讲重点这样的所以他讲很精彩。我会稍微翻译一下 ，so they will catch up. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chan, for connecting me to the audience. As Hindi was considered to be the language of connection, a link language, because most of the Indians in 1950s they spoke Hindi. So the government came up with the policy of introducing Hindi as the official language of the country. But as I said, the southern states they opposed this idea. So there came the period of 15 years, from 1950 to 1965. The government decided that gradually, slowly but gradually, the English language will give way to Hindi language. And in 1965, 26 January, Hindi will become officially the official language of the entire nation. Now the politics. Here comes the politics now. What kind of politics? As I said, the southern states were opposing this idea of making Hindi as a compulsory official language. What they did want? They wanted English to continue. That is the problem. Because they didn't know Hindi. Even today, more than 90% of people in South India, they don't know Hindi. They don't speak Hindi. So the problem was for the government in 1965, when the day 26 January 1965 came near, there started large-scale protests from the southern states. And the most important one was the Tamil Nadu. DMK, that is Dravid Munnetra Kazhagam. This is one of the political parties led by Mr. Karunakaran. He came up with the idea of opposing Hindi, and the students wing of this Dravid Munnetra Kazhagam, they started large-scale protest, violent protest, and 66 people were dead during that protest. 66 people were killed, and then the government, central government of India, under at that time the Prime Minister of India was Lal Bahadur Shastri, and he took the decision that we cannot implement the decision which was taken back 15 years back in 1950, that Hindi will become the link language, official language of the country. So for the indefinite period in the future, English will continue to be the official language of the country. That decision was taken, and in 2017, today, on 6th of this month, still the position is the same. English is official language. Central government of India is trying to push Hindi in one way or the other. Crores of rupees, you won't believe, Dr. Chan, crores of rupees are being invested on making Hindi compulsory for all the people of the country. There are different departments of the government of India who look after spreading the use of Hindi in day-to-day activities. Just let me share you one example. We do have centralized banks. We have nationalized banks. 15 of them, the Reserve Bank of India and the State Bank of India and other. In the higher education sector, we are having University Grants Commission. And for say around 20 years back, there came into existence very important body which is called as National Assessment and Accreditation Council, which looks after the accreditation of higher educational institutions in our country. So the duty of these institutions, including these universities and nationalized banks, all public sector companies, is to promote Hindi. How are they promoting? Now this NAC, they are having the website, and on their website they have mentioned what they have mentioned in Hindi, because they are supposed to promote Hindi. So what they have mentioned that even though, I'm trying to translate that Hindi for you, even though all the formats of this NAC accreditation are in Hindi, all the institutions of higher education are requested to fill in their proformas only in English, because all the people who are working with NAC, they don't know Hindi. This is a very shocking thing for a government institution like NAC to say that the people of that particular institution, they don't know Hindi. And the government is spending crores of rupees for that. This is one kind of. So what is actually the problem? What I feel is the problem is with the mindset of the people. We are responsible for that. Though I'm teaching English language and literature for past 25 years, it doesn't mean that I'm trying to oppose English. No, not at all. Not at all. It gives me my bread and butter. It comes from my English teaching. But I'm more concerned about the politics. How the people, the leaders, they are not at all concerned about making. In 2004 in South Africa there was International Hindi Conference, and the General Secretary of he was to inaugurate that conference in 2004 in South Africa. You will be shocked to know that the person who was not Hindi speaking, who was not an Indian, he was a foreigner, he delivered his speech in Hindi at the time of inaugural of that conference, because it was Hindi conference in South Africa. And unfortunately for us, the leader of our country, the cultural minister of our country, who was to support Indian government into that conference, he spoke in English. He delivered his speech in English. That is the problem. I think this is where the politics comes. The same is now being continued for so many years. Now, what actually happened in different kinds of literature, which is being used? I'm not now going back to Sanskrit literature. You will be surprised to know again. Recently in 2012 there came. There are different groups of people who are trying to promote their own culture, their own language. That is the case in India. We have 22 languages in the schedule. In the constitution there is a schedule which speaks about the scheduled languages. So there are 22 scheduled languages in India, though thousands of them are being spoken by the people. Only 22 are given the status of scheduled language. Recently there came an idea of a classical language, and under this group of elite languages, I'm deliberately using this word elite, there came the first to be included into this elite language was Tamil, and the next year there came the inclusion of Sanskrit language. Now here comes again the politics. Sanskrit is the language which is not today spoken by even 1,000 people in India. It is dead, already dead, long back dead. There are no people who speak Sanskrit. But in just 10 years back, there came the group of elite languages wherein Sanskrit is included. And there is one more language, Bhojpuri for example. Bhojpuri is a language which is spoken on the outskirts of Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. Around 40 million, 4 crore people speak this language, Bhojpuri. But that language has not been included in either in the scheduled languages or in the group of elite languages, of classical languages. That is the dirty politics of the use of language. So why? When any language comes under the schedule or comes under the classical languages, there comes the huge amount of money which is given for the preservation, for the promotion of that particular language. So for the people, for the language like Sanskrit, where there are no even 1,000 people are speaking, crores of rupees are coming. For the language which is Bhojpuri, 4 crores of people are speaking, but nobody is there to give money for the production of that particular language. That is the politics. Now the similar kind of politics is being. Here comes the topic of my presentation now. The real where I am much more concerned. It is literature. Now, how literature is being used for the politics of the use of language? rather than speaking about different regional Indian languages, I'll concentrate myself upon my mother tongue, that is Marathi, which is spoken by say around 40 million, 60 million people, 600 crores of people in Maharashtra. They speak Marathi language. And in Marathi, there was the birth of literature called Dalit literature. That is marginal literature. Now we know what is marginal. Marginal is actually a kind of literature which is, or the people, marginal people are the people who belong to the edge, to the outskirts, who are oppressed, suppressed. The people belonging to the tribal communities, people belonging to the untouchable communities in India, even the women, they belong to the marginal groups. In India, untouchables, they fall under the marginal group. And in early 1960s, there came into existence a very powerful flow into the mainstream Marathi literature. That literature is called as Dalit literature. Now this Dalit literature, when it came into existence, the people belonging to mainstream Marathi literature, they were not ready to accept it as literature at all. For them, Marathi Dalit literature has no literary qualities. Why? The first objection was so far as its language is concerned. Because the language which was being used by these people, the Dalit writers, the Dalit poets, including Namdev Dasal, Daya Pawar, these people, they use their day-to-day dialect, Marathi dialect. From here they had come. The language with which they used to speak for their day-to-day activities. The same kind of language they used to create their literature. Now what was the original language, Marathi language? Marathi language or Marathi literature, as we know it, mainstream Marathi literature, is the literature written in a particular part of the state of Maharashtra. You might have heard about the city of Pune, the cultural capital of Maharashtra, Pune. And in that Pune, there is a small area, lane called Sadashivpet. Very small, tiny area of Pune city, Sadashivpet. And then in that Sadashivpet, educated Brahmins, upper caste in India. These Brahmins, they speak the kind of language, that language is called as the Sadashivpeti language, Sadashivpeti Marathi, and the literature, Marathi literature was supposed to be written only in that particular language, which was pure Marathi, not Apabhransha. You will be surprised. No, Marathi itself, as the slide shows, Marathi itself is the product of Apabhransha Prakriti. But again, in that Apabhransha, impure language, corrupt language, there again are the groups, the compartments are pure Marathi and impure Marathi. That is, the people belonging to the upper caste. See, Marathi literature, I don't know about this part of the country. But in Maharashtra, the people, the mainstream people are the upper caste people. The Brahmins. And all the institutions of power, education, literature, politics, all these institutions are controlled directly or indirectly by these upper caste people. The publication industry is controlled by the upper caste people. The Brahmins are there. The media is controlled by the Brahmins. So they don't like that there should be some kind of competition coming from the lower castes. Here comes the politics. So they started to oppose the use of language in the literature in 1960s. They said that this Marathi literature, it has no quality at all, no literary qualities at all. And what is that? They say that this kind of literature is trying to destroy the literature itself. So we should not promote it. That was the stand taken by the mainstream critics of Marathi literature in 1960s and 70s. So what was actually there? They were trying to protect three different, Satyam, Shivam and Sundaram. these are the three principles which were not found to be present in Dalit literature. That was the strand. What is Satya? Satya means truth. Truth, good and beautiful. These principles were not to be present in Dalit literature. Why? What is truth? What is actually you will believe me that these are truth and goodness and beautiful. These are more relative concepts. Truth for one person can be less true than the other. For example, say suppose there is a small fruit. My friend yesterday presented me the lychees. Lychee.
奶鸡啊，荔枝啊，昨天我送给他荔枝啊，给他让他。
So that lychee is a reddish colored, rough fruit. When we remove the skin and inside it is soft, smooth and sweet. So this is the truth for the person who knows about the taste, about the color. But if there is a person who is color blind, if the person is a color blind, is it possible for him to say that the red, because he cannot understand the difference between the red and green. He cannot understand the difference between the white and black. So this color becomes the problem. So the truth itself is relative. So that color blind person cannot call that lychee as lychee. That can be the problem. The same can be said about good, the concept of good. What is good? What is good? For example, we have a very beautiful writer in Marathi. I respect him a lot. Sane Guruji. Sane Guruji, he has written a beautiful autobiographical work, the life story of his own story. Shamshi Ai. The name of that book is Sham. I don't know how many of you are following me. Shamshi Ai is Sham's mother. This is the life story of Sane Guruji. So it's a very beautiful. I must confess, it's one of the best life stories of the world. Wherein he has spoken about very idealistically about his relationship with his mother. The writer's relationship with his mother. This is good. That good should be there. That Shiva, the concept of Shivam should be there in literature. But the problem is with the kind of people. I have one Dalit writer. His name is, say, Lakshman Gaikwad, for example. Lakshman Gaikwad is one of the Dalit writers who has written his autobiography. The branded. In that life story, he writes, see the difference between the Sham's mother, wherein the son speaks very politely, very lovingly, very affectionately about his mother. And in the other part, we do have the autobiography, the branded, wherein the author, the writer, Lakshman, he speaks about his parents. Why? In which manner? He says, see, what does he say? Are Martanda, he writes, Are Martanda, what is the use of sending Laksha to the school? What is the use of sending your son to the school? Send it to me, he says. Send it to us. I'll teach him the skill of pickpocketing. He can become a big pickpocket. So is it possible for the person belonging to this lower community, this Uslia, he belongs to the Uslia community, that is the pickpockets community. So is it possible for him to write affectionately as Sham Chiai, this Shana Guruji, he writes about it? It's very difficult. It's very difficult. So the language which Lakshman will use will be far different. So that cannot be good. That cannot be good. Here I have got one very beautiful poem wherein the poet writes. See what he writes in Marathi. I'll try to translate it in English and you can translate it.
Yes, I'll use 1 minute.
Yeah. This is written by a Brahmin poet, upper caste poet. He writes, मी धट वसन नवल्याले पण पाहताच तू झाले क्षण मेल्याहून मेले. It is the newly married woman, the bride, and speaking to her bridegroom. And she says, I was so, when she, for the first time she met him, what kind of emotions were there? She says, I wore a new sari, but when I saw you, I tried to as bold as possible, but it was not possible for me. She was meeting her husband for the first time. And further the poet writes, Moharli lahari kaya, gudmarli pahli vaili re lakh bulanchi maya. And this body of mine, it was shivering. Though I was trying to be bold, the body was not giving support to me, my emotions. And what happened at the end, the poet writes, ते वसनी फसवे पिटले अब गुंडन दवने त्राचे मिरवाया नौत. And immediately that sari gave its way. So what remained? Now, for a poet belonging to the